Hello and welcome to the Indulge podcast. We are here for a very special episode of Fitness Coach on Coach. We have two very interesting and accomplished fitness experts with us today. Joining us from Chennai is Raj Ganpath, and from Bangalore we have Charan Tej. Raj is the co founder of Quad and has just released his book on fitness and well being. Charan is a national level CrossFit champion and was rated among the top 50 fittest people in India. Charan is also the co founder of CrossFit 91. He also co owns an exercise wear enterprise. Gentlemen, welcome to Fitness Coach on Coach. Raj, you've just come up with a book that's titled Simple, Not Easy. Can you explain that title?
Do I have to? I mean, simple, not easy, right? I think in a lot of ways, people think fitness is something that is very complicated, very hard, right? It's not easy to access. Fitness is mostly reserved for fit people, right? But in reality, when you understand the fundamentals of fitness, the basic building blocks of it, would you realize that it's actually very simple. It's just a way of life. That's what fitness is. That said, it's not necessarily easy. I can simplify it for you. There are very simple ways to get fit, but the fact remains that it's still hard, and it always is going to continue being hard. So like a lot of aspects of life, right? It can be work, it can be parenting, it can be just adulthood. A lot of these things can be simple, but definitely not easy. So that's why we went with the title Simple Not Easy.
Fantastic. Charan, would you like to agree? What are your take?
Totally, because it's a lot of the times it's mostly depending on it's just way of life of bringing like where do you start and how do you go about all these things, because it's not that easy for somebody to be consistently go back and then just be disciplined about the lifestyle, because most of the times it's just that discipline brings in the order to bring in a change. Anything for you to bring in a change, you have to be a little more consistent, and that consistency is extremely hard. Not everybody mentally can come through along that discipline, because consistency brings in change. Any type of fitness, any type of lifestyle need that consistency, need that discipline to bring in the change. Maybe that's why the title definitely seems pretty apt. It's very simple to put in an order to follow, but it's very hard to be consistent. So definitely it's not easy.
Raj, what do you have to say to the competitive element of fitness?
I think at the end of the day, it can be fitness or CrossFit or anything specifically. It's a tool, right? You decide what you want to use that tool for. Back in the day,
Right.
fitness was a tool for, say, bodybuilders or strongmen or celebrities or athletes, right? That was the point of it. For the common person, fitness was not really relevant, right? Because, well,
Right.
life is hard as it is. Today, though, we are starting to use fitness as a tool for betterment. That doesn't mean we have to train as hard as athletes do, but it does mean that we still have to learn from them, be inspired by them, and embrace consistency, embrace the little changes that we're doing, make smart food choices, prioritize sleep, right? Do all the right things, not at that intensity, but still,
Okay.
it matters. How do you use that tool for your well-being?
Okay. Yeah. What about bodybuilding? Is bodybuilding still a fitness, or is it just cosmetic?
It is. See, I mean, obviously,
Sorry.
the aesthetics is a big part of bodybuilding naturally, right? I mean, it's building your body. So there's a lot to do with, say symmetry and, how big each muscle is and how it looks and posing and things like that. But you will never find a bodybuilder who is, like really ripped and big and muscular, who does not have that strength. You need to be able to build strength to get there. But again, we're talking about, at the top level here. At the base of it all, it comes down to strength, speed, endurance, and mobility, right? You should be able to have these different aspects of, fitness for you to be able to live a good quality of life. Now, if you're someone who's interested in bodybuilding, you still have to lift weights, you still have to eat well, you still have to sleep a lot, you'll have to do all that. But the specifics change.
Adding on to what you said, it is entirely subjective to whether you know what you're actually getting into, whether you actually know what you're actually using that tool for. Like you rightly mentioned, like bodybuilding can be a great tool for anybody who's actually doing any of the sport, including CrossFit, including Olympic weightlifter, including a power lifter, because there is this static positional strength that I actually can build through bodybuilding. But also bodybuilding by itself can be a exercise routine where for somebody who actually don't want to push themselves to actually understand a lot of dynamics that how it can be used, that also can be used a singular tool as to just to work out, build their routine. It all comes down to your subjective interest, your subjective knowledge, and also what do you want to do with it. Like for me, especially, like even though I do CrossFit, I don't like, as I'm getting older, I'm shifting my entire training method into more of like how do I be able to do this for a longer term while I'm able to lift weights, while I'm able to do all the gymnastics. That for me, bodybuilding kind of helps me to keep my static strength, keep my positional strength, to be able to do what I'm doing for the long term. Similarly, that can be used for a lot of other people for strength training. And bodybuilding by itself, I would probably just say, like it lacks some form of functionality. It's not more functional. It's more of a strength building, aesthetic building, not definitely more of a functional building where they don't use that necessary functionality somewhere else into the like dynamics of their sports or in the lifestyle.
Raj, you beat asthma, with your fitness regimen. Are there any other lifestyle diseases that can be overcome with fitness?
Well, firstly, I mean, want to clarify, right? I mean, there's no beating asthma here, right? Like a lot of these conditions, health conditions, it could be diabetes, it could be asthma, it could be any of these autoimmune diseases. You can manage them, right? You can regulate them. You can obviously control your symptoms, all that through lifestyle. But if you're talking about a serious illness, then there's always a combination of lifestyle and medicine that needs to go hand in hand. As far as my journey is concerned, I suffered from asthma for a very long time, from the time I was a little kid, from the time I was just 10 years old. And we did try, a whole bunch of treatments. And as you all know, there's no real cure for asthma. Okay. So there are many purported cures. I mean, there's homeopathy and there's allopathic treatment. There are treatments there, but there's no real cure per se. So what I realized though, as I got older, is I just learned how to live with asthma. Right. As a kid, I would just not run much. I would just not exert myself too much. Fitness was not really a part of, my thing. If I played cricket, I'd have a bite on her. So you learn how to work around it. But once I got into fitness, I realized something was that there was a certain amount of food allergy that I was suffering from. And that food allergy was causing inflammation, and that was triggering the asthma. So when I was able to identify this, then I was able to kind of control the trigger. And by controlling the trigger, I was able to control the asthma. That doesn't mean that I will never be asthmatic. For instance, if you put me in a room right now with a bunch of smoke, I would still find it hard to breathe naturally because my airways would swell up and all that. But from a nutrition perspective, for me it was more about gluten. So gluten was a trigger for me. It was an allergen that was affecting me negatively. So when I was able to remove gluten for a certain number of months, when I was able to remove the trigger, then the symptoms of asthma reduced drastically, and it improved the quality of life, right? And when my quality of life improved, and because asthma was well under control, I was able to exercise. Now, the exercise naturally helped with the asthma also because my endurance improved, my lung capacity improved, right? So basically, 2 + 2 was greater than 4 in this case. So it was a compound
Right.
effect. It obviously exercise has a big role to play there. And if we're
Yeah.
able to improve our lifestyle, we're able to mitigate a lot of the issues that we are facing.
What about diseases like cancer? There are studies that are now showing that you can actually starve the cancer cells and gain control over the disease. You think fitness might work with that?
Yeah, the recent study shows that like women or anybody for that matter who lifts weights for more than twice a week consistently throughout their life actually have like 40 to 60% of reducing cancer by proven. And nobody talks about that, and nobody actually bring in that awareness. Even when you go to the doctors, they don't talk about these things. I think bringing awareness about these things, about weight training, especially in the women, especially about like always people talk about do not lift weights, do not do this, do not do that. I think it's mostly just about the awareness of like lifting weights, of what you can do and what you should not do. Definitely have the benefits of reducing cancer, reducing diabetes.
Yeah, you just mentioned weight training for women. So,
Yes.
is weight training very different for men and women?
Coming to women and strength, again, there's really no reason that women should not lift weights. Again, this is also, lack of awareness from a lot of people. Lifting too much weight will make you bulky. It's dangerous. You won't be woman-like. It's all conditioning that's in people's heads. And like Charan said, nothing bad can come from strength training. Okay, strength only makes you better at whatever it is that you do. You could be a coach, you could be an athlete, you could be a software engineer, you could be a journalist, you could be a doctor, you could be a homemaker. Whatever it is that you do, strength makes you better. Okay, so improving your strength is what strength training is. So the moment we say strength training, the moment we say weightlifting, what are people thinking? Oh, okay, you're going to lift 200 kilos, get all bulky, you're going to break your back. That's not what you're talking about. You're talking about improving your levels of strength. And strength is an essential part of life. All of us use strength right now. You need strength to stand up. You need core strength to even stand up. Without core strength, you're just going to basically, collapse. Right? So the point is to incorporate strength training as a part of life. Back in the day, strength training was just a part of everyday life. Today, it doesn't exist. So we have to artificially include it into our lives. And women definitely need strength training even more than men, because women are more prone to bone related illnesses as they grow older. And strength training is absolutely the only way to combat that. Because what strength training does is it doesn't just build muscle, it also builds bones, right? It improves your bone mineral density. And as you age, especially women, we become frail because our bone mineral density drops. Bones become more brittle. And the way to combat that is by making strength training a regular part of your life. And the other thing to keep in mind here is, unlike men, women, as they age, they go through different kinds of hormonal plays. Around the age of 35, 40, somewhere there, when women get into this stage called perimenopause, a lot of changes happen in the body. One of the major changes that happen at that point is estrogen levels drop. When estrogen levels drop, what happens is the amount of muscle mass in their body also reduces. When the amount of muscle mass reduces in the body, basal metabolic rate, BMR, also reduces. When your basal metabolic rate reduces, the amount of calories, the amount of energy you burn on a daily basis also reduces. So even though you're doing the same stuff through the day, the amount of energy you're burning per day reduces. And the amount of food that you're eating is the same. So gradually what happens is women end up gaining weight because of lack of muscle mass, right? Drop in muscle mass.
Yeah.
So especially during that perimenopausal stage, it is mandatory, it is highly recommended that women include strength training as a part of their lives for the rest of their lives. Some form of strength training. It need not be a barbell, it need not be a kettlebell, it can be body weight, it can be dumbbell, it can be Pilates, it can be yoga, it can be anything. But you have to stimulate your muscles, you have to load those muscles and bones and help your body along its way, especially as you get older.
What about when somebody has a bad back or maybe a case of spondylitis? How does one get back to the gym when you're suffering from such painful ailments?
Well, depends, Edison. What I mean by that is if back pain is a chronic issue in your life, and if you're trying to fix that, then there are certain specific exercises that you want to work on. Okay? It's called rehab. You'll do some back strengthening work. You'll probably, strengthen the right muscles. Again, depends on each person, what the cause of the back pain itself, right? So, as a general rule, you want to remember, never build strength on dysfunction, right?
Okay.
So if there is a dysfunction, if you have a joint pain, it could be knee, it could be shoulder, it could be back, whatever it is, you need to address that first before you do everything else, because your body is one unit. Right? If your back is not in good shape, if you have back pain, you go and run. The back pain is going to get worse. You lift weight, it's going to get worse, right? So the goal should be to use training, use fitness as a tool to fix the back pain first. Once the back pain is addressed, then you use fitness as a tool to do whatever it is. So again, going back to what we started, right? All of this, these are just different tools. And fitness, the overall fitness as such is a tool. What do you want to use it for? Today, most people want to use it to lose weight, because that seems to be the main problem, the most superficial problem that's, they're right in front of everyone's faces. They're like, you know what, I want to use fitness to lose weight. But let's talk about what your real problems are. If you have joint pain, if you have back pain, that's the first thing. Being pain-free is the first requirement. right? So use fitness as a tool to solve the back pain first. Then use fitness as a tool to build muscle. Then use fitness as a tool to lose weight, right? So obviously, fitness is a tool that has multiple applications. You need to know what exactly your problems are and how you can use, and the coach is the person who will help you use fitness to fix that particular problem.
So obviously, if this is going to be, the case for anybody who's going to join a gym, as trainers, both of you need to spend a lot of, time with your clients before you actually put them on a specific training regimen. So, is there a standard procedure you have for this?
Yeah. So what we do is every time somebody walks in with us, we always do a whole assessment of how their mobility is, how their core strength is, where they're standing with respect to strength, where they're standing with the resistance strength, and also positional strength. How is their stability and balance? So we kind of do an assessment over a bit of all the modules of like a body and fitness, and then like all of us are very obviously different. We're all subjective matters of like maybe you have more strength and you have a better stability, but then I have a better range of motion, better mobility. So first we obviously do that assessment, and then we will take them through the process of, hey, you know what, this is where you stand and this is how you should train. And then we also ask them, what are your goals? Why are you coming to the gym? So most of the people, the more you take that information, the more you actually, take them through the process of checking the overall aspects of I wouldn't say fitness rather than just all the movements. It gives us more information about how do I help that person to get better at what they want to get better at.
So do you guys also, give your clients a nutritional plan to, complement their exercise regimen?
Depends on what their goals are. For some clients, it will be nutrition guidelines. For some clients, or in our case, we call our clients students, right? So for some students, it'll be more along the lines of, the changes that they have to make, customizations, personalizations. For some of them, it'll be just, full-blown nutrition coaching. So it depends on what is needed.
I believe nutrition is something extremely personal. Food is something where one has to be very sensitive, and then because what we do is we kind of tell everybody, like whenever we get an opportunity to have these conversations to one-on-one, we kind of try to give them a basic knowledge of how your body functions when you eat something, when you don't eat something. Also, to rely on the foods that you are comfortable growing up, you eating with, is extremely important. So actually bringing that awareness about food, about talking about micronutrients, and then talking about what is their lifestyle like, what their habits are like what do they eat and what do they prefer to eat for a longer period of time. And then also food, because it's so sensitive and so personal to everybody, bringing in small changes over a period of time rather than me telling you what to eat would never work out. Me telling you how much to eat and then me asking you to be a little experimental with the food over a period of time can actually have more benefits, is what I've seen over a period of probably a decade. Because in that way, it's very easy for people to see what they can do over a period of time rather than just instant changes with food, especially.
So do you guys also, give your clients a nutritional plan to, complement their exercise regimen?
If you randomly pull someone from the road and you just measure their vitamin D, it's going to be deficient, right? Like most of us don't get enough vitamin D. Sure. So you can say, hey, what do I do? Get a lot of sunlight. Okay. You get about 1 hour of sunlight this time, that time, whatever, but you're not going to do it. I know you're not going to do it. So I'm going to say supplement with vitamin D. It's a better, smarter, safer solution and a more sustainable solution. Yeah. And everyone's okay with that. It's the same thing with something like, protein supplements.
Protein.
If you are a vegetarian, yes, you need to get at least 1 gram of protein per kilo of your body weight, ideally 1.5 to 2. But if you're not able to get it because you've chosen to eat certain foods and you've chosen to not eat certain foods, and you're not willing to make that switch, then your only option is to supplement with protein, just like how we supplemented with vitamin D, right? So depending on what it is that you're not getting enough of, you supplement. So if you're someone with joint pain, if you're someone, who needs your joints to be stronger, but you're not getting enough collagen from your diet, first option obviously is to try to include collagen in your diet, right? Will you have bone broth? Oh no, I'm a vegetarian, I don't have meat. Okay, great. Then you can have a collagen supplement, right? So it depends on what you really need. And then again, use it, don't abuse it. Make sure there is a deficiency, make sure you need it, And see, the thing with supplements is it falls between food and medicine. All right. So it
Right.
slips through the cracks. The regulation, the testing, none of that is, as strong as it is for medicines. So a lot of
Right.
times when there are thousands of supplement companies right now. You have these pills, you have these powders, but you don't really know what's in them. Yeah. So if you're getting cheap supplements simply because, I don't know, this influencer is taking that celebrity is taking this, so I'm going to have 17 supplements, that is kind of shooting yourself in the foot, right? So as always, use common sense, don't abuse, talk to a doctor, general stuff.
So what is
Please.
functional training? Yeah.
So functional training is anything that probably would help you, with your daily day-to-day life about how does any movement actually can help your life better, like squatting, like like lifting weights over your head, anything that actually all these movement patterns will help you out with your like regular day-to-day life is more about functional movements.
And would you advise sit out? Is there a pattern to this? Is there can you train somebody with this or tell them how to go about it? Is it like occupational therapy or something like that, Raj?
So yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, you think about it, when you think about fitness, when you think about exercise, the point is to look, feel, and function better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look better, you want to feel better, you want to function better, right? So anything that is helping you with function is functional training.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's this. So depending on what your function is, functional
Yeah.
training will differ. So you
Yeah.
as a journalist, functional training will feel different than, let's say, a doctor, right? Or a surgeon, right? So what is function for you? What can we do to improve your function?
How do you use Pilates to build core strength and build muscle? Is that possible with Pilates?
Building core strength is definitely possible, but see, if you have to break muscle to build the muscle.
Right.
Building a muscle is entirely a different topic altogether, but then you definitely can build the core strength through the Pilates, through the positional work.
Okay.
And Pilates does that very beautifully by building the positional strength, building the range of motion, building that mobility, building those positional strengths for sure. But then through the Pilates, by adding those additional bar or weights, you can build the muscle strength for for a smaller extent. But then, like I said, the more you break the muscle, the more you build the muscle.
Any other trends in fitness that we should watch out for?
We have another 4 hours, 5 hours.
Something that you come across recently, or something that's going to hit us soon?
Well, honestly, not necessarily in fitness. The thing is, just like food, okay, fitness is a whole realm, right? You will keep
Right.
coming up with new things, right? It's just different ways of getting to the same destination, which is an improved quality of life, right? So new trends
Yeah.
will keep coming up. It's important to understand them, embrace them, try them. But it's also important not be like, okay, this is the be all end all of fitness now, right? Like everything else sucks. This is what we need to do, right? That's important. But the more common trend right now is more along the weight loss side. You'd have heard of Ozempic, right? Which is making the rounds. So that's one of those things. But that is kind of a combination of obviously medicine, healthcare, weight loss, all of that coming together. So trends will come and go, fads will come and go. The basics are always here to stay. So stick to the basics.
Great. So one last question. What is the one quality, or what are the qualities, or what is the right attitude a person should have when he or she should have, when you want to get into fitness?
You can talk about this, I don't know, a couple of hours. I think at least like having done this for like 10 years and then being at the other side, for anybody to learn anything, you obviously have to be coachable. And then you also have to understand where you stand with respect to like with your knowledge. Also, you have to do a little bit homework by yourself, because what happens, what I've seen around the world is, or what I've seen around here in fitness industry is that like people come in with a lot of hope, and people come in with a lot of problems. People come in with a lot of concerns or injuries or whatever. You can actually all put them in one box. Like the coaches, how they handle it, and then also as a client, how you actually ask these questions, because most of the people obviously, like I don't, as a coach, I don't want to tell people what to do. I rather would show them what to do and then ask them, is this what you would wanted, or is this how you like, that basic knowledge of what are you doing it for, how are you doing it, how you should not do it, and like how can you make it better, and then how can you make it better consistently. that whole, process is majorly missing, is what I feel from the coach perspective. As a client's perspective, it's also, again, life coaching, right? Like, it's very important to be able to be coachable so that I can give you the knowledge that I have, so that it's always a 50-50 job where I tell you, I help you with what you have to do. And then you also tell me how that feedback has been received and how that, cues has been given to you. It's also very important how you're feeling, because all our bodies are extremely different. Maybe what I'm telling you might not work for you and might work for someone else, but it's also your job to give me that information, give me that feedback, so that I can come very well equipped to assist you to get better, is what I feel. But that's definitely is missing to a larger extent. Most of the people don't ask, what am I doing this for? What am I not doing this for? How does this help me? With what does it help me with? What are the muscles that involved? What are the muscles that's not involved? Like, what I should not feel. This basic information can actually bring in the basic patterns of movement, and that, if you have a strong base, you can build on it over a period of time, is what I strongly feel.
Raj, what do you think the qualities a person should have to get into fitness?
It's the honesty, right? I mean, it's quite simple today. Like I said, fitness has become it's applicable to everyone. Okay, so whether you're training at a gym, whether you're training by yourself, whether you're just doing calisthenic work, just a little bit here and there, it doesn't matter. But you're going to have to do some form of fitness. And what you need to do, honestly, is you need to take control, right? Because at the end of the day, no one's going to care about your health, your fitness as much as you do. Not your doctor, not your coach, not your friends, not your parents. You're going to have to care. So take control. Second thing, see the big picture. Not the next month. How much weight can I lose in 3 weeks, right? What can I do in the next 2 months? No. You're going to have to do this for the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life, right? So see the big picture. Third thing, be patient. It's not going to happen on a timeline. Your body doesn't care about your timelines, right? So be patient. It's going to take time, right? Don't be in a rush. Be consistent. That's the fourth one. And when I say be consistent, don't worry about intensity. Oh, this person looks like this. This person's doing that. Doesn't matter, right? The game is consistency, not intensity. And finally, be kind. Be kind to yourself, because you are going to mess up in your journey. You are going to make mistakes. You are not a professional athlete who can live and breathe fitness. You're a professional something else. Okay? You have a life. There are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be weeks when you don't train. You're going to fall sick, right? You're going to come up with excuses. You're going to be lazy. You're going to make mistakes, right? So expect yourself to falter. But when that does happen, don't beat yourself up. Don't guilt trip yourself, because that's only going to cause overcompensation. So be kind to yourself, right? And keep doing one step at a time. And as long as you're able to see the big picture, take control, be patient, be consistent, be kind, it's inevitable for you to see results.
Great. Raj and Charan, thank you so much for making the time to be on our Indulge podcast. It's truly been an insightful and informative session, and I have enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm sure our viewers too will. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.